Most of this video will be focused on Super Saiyan 4 Vegito and Super Saiyan 3 Rosé, but once I'm done with them discussing their best teams and rotations, I will tackle and quickly touch on the other characters that were released as part of this celebration as well. Let's go ahead and hop into it. And I will say for this, if you did pull Super Saiyan 4 Vegito your first multi, I'm happy for you, but you got caught lacking today. You got to subscribe to the channel and drop down and give me 4 push-ups. It is what it is for Super Saiyan 4. And I appreciate you for being here. Let's go ahead and hop into the video. So, Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, best team. It's going to be a little difficult, and I'll actually show you something when we get to the Rosé side of things. But one thing to keep in note automatically is that his kit is not super restricted towards, having crossover this or crossover that, but there is this, right? Plus an additional attack and defense plus 100%, and great chance of launching an additional super attack when there is another Giant 8 power or crossover category ally attacking in the same turn, or that specific enemy. And then chance of performing critical hit and extra damage reduction on top of the 30% he has here when all allies attacking in the same turn are Giant 8 power or crossover again. So if you really want to see this Vegito at his maximum strength, both offensively and defensively, crossover and Giant 8 power is just what you have to go with, right? And since we're focusing on his best team, that's exactly what we're going to focus on. So one rotation you can definitely have is this with the newly Easy 8 Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. A benefit that Super Saiyan 4 Vegito actually has is he is giving the new Super Saiyan 4 Vegito 2 key and 60% to stats. 2 key and 60% to stats. So I feel like this is probably, if not the best partner for, right now for Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. 6 links, and we're not even counting all of this key and all this attack and all this defense. And just from support, we're giving 2 key and 60% to stats. So off the bat, this is definitely, if you can do this rotation, if you can make this rotation, do it. Another one would be Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Again, grade 8 power, not crossover, but grade 8 power. Sorry, I keep saying grade 8 power, Giant 8 power. Super Saiyan 4 Goku obviously fits that role, so this is another rotation you can do. 5 links that they're going to share. Another one is going to be this Vegito. Now, unfortunately, this Vegito is not on Giant 8 power or crossover, but they do share 5 out of 7 links, so yet another strong rotation for this Vegito. And then, of course, we do have the kinda recently, but not recently, Easy 8 Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku. Now he is on Giant 8 power, so he will be able to unlock those parts of Vegito's passive. I just think that these 3 are definitely the go-to rotations if you have any of these characters, and if you don't, then Vegito would be a great option, because again, at least he's sharing 5. Like, these are definitely Vegitos. In terms of characters right now that are still relevant or somewhat relevant, these are definitely his best linking partners. You can definitely get away with maybe like, an int transformed or STR transformed Vegito, but I think it'll be a little bit hard to really make those rotations work, especially with the restrictions that Vegito has in his kit. Now, I want to talk about these 2 units really quick. These 2 units, let's say you have Vegito, right? You're going to run your Vegito as your lead, and then a friend Vegito. So one rotation, you'd have, let's say, this right here, Vegito and Vegito. Another rotation, you'd have Vegito, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? So that's 4 characters. You need, essentially, 3 more to really make this team work, and that's where your floaters would come in. So one floater, a great option, would be the Supreme Kai of Time. One of my favorite things about her is that since she's literally in the 3rd slot, she'll be able to massively raise her defense before she gets hit. She also is giving all allies 3 key, 40% to stats, and 12% chance to crit. And she's healing, and if you end up having a really good rotation, that 3 key and 40% of stats can turn into 3 key and 52%. I mean, it's a little bit higher than 52, but you get the point, right? And then plus a 12% chance to crit, plus the healing at the end of the turn. And if she doubles super, she could be looking really good in the third. So not the best defensive option overall, but definitely a good option for heroes, right? And then we also have the newly easy-aid Super Saiyan 5 Lingerie Toa. All allies 3 key and 40% to stats. She has a very similar chance in her passive to continue buffing all allies on rotation. Now, she does have this extreme class allies attacking defense plus 60%, which she's just, you know, on a team like this, you're not really going to be able to see that. But the recovery of HP you should still be able to get when HP is 50% or less, because it doesn't say this and then this only when, right? It just says this and then the way it's worded, it feels like when HP is 50% or less, you'll still be able to activate this even if you don't have extreme class allies on the turn. So keep that in mind. That's the only part of her passive that may not really work, but besides that, these two characters are really, really, really good for floating and supporting. And then another character I wanted to talk about really quickly, I forgot to pull them up. Where are they? Where are they? Let me pull up Gohan. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? I guess Goku could work too. Let me pull up Fu really quick. Hold on. No. So, okay, Goku here is honestly a solid option in the third slot for teams like this. Because if you have a full Dragon Ball Heroes team, right, you're 35% damage reduction there, on top of 15, which is 50%, on top of guarding, on top of raising his own stats here. I mean, this is definitely not a bad option at all if you manage to pull him or have him. And then Gohan here, because we are dealing with Giant 8 power, a lot of Giant 8 power category allies on the turn, 50% damage reduction is looking pretty good. Like, this is definitely a buff to Gohan. So if you can find a place to add him on your team in that third slot when he super attacks, raises his own defense, that 50% damage reduction can definitely come in clutch. So consider all of those options as your floaters when you're rocking these main rotations here. Let me know what you think. Let's move on to Rosé. Now, the unfortunate thing about Rosé is that his leader skill doesn't really play too nicely with a lot of Zamasus or Goku Blacks or Merge Zamasus, because they aren't really on these categories here, right? So, and especially crossover. There's no other Rosé Goku Black that's just on crossover. So the only real linking partner you can, like value-wise get out of Super Saiyan 3 Rosé here in terms of just like the team he's leading is Broly, right? Which, I mean, is definitely a decent rotation, but if you really want to maximize and play around with Super Saiyan 3 Rosé on, let's say, a Rosé team, a Goku Black team, then you're going to want to run English. You're going to want to run the LR Tech Fusion Zamasu, because he has Realm of Gods, Fuse Fighters, which is what I was talking about earlier. And Time Travelers. Guess who's on Time Travelers? Where is it? Right there. Guess who else is on Time Travelers? Where's this bozo at? Look at them. Right here. Look at this. Boom. So all of a sudden, this character's value in terms of leader skill has increased, because they can essentially fit a lot of the new, heroes, a lot of the decent heroes characters on this team, especially Vegito, which I don't really know how much use you're going to get out of running Vegito with Zamasu, but more specifically, Super Saiyan 3 Rosé is going to have a 200% lead on this team, and if you do run Super Saiyan 3 Rosé under Fusion Zamasu, you can then run a rotation like this, where it's not the craziest rotation of all time, because we don't really have things like big bad bosses active, but it's still not a bad rotation, especially if you're trying to force run Super Saiyan 3. When I say force run, I'm saying, you just really want to run Super Saiyan 3 Rosé, so you're going to take anyone else off the team and put him on it and see how well he does, right? So this is another option for you. Remember that this physical, where do I have him actually pulled up here? I don't have him pulled up at all. Okay, that's silly of me. One thing I wanted to show about physical Zamasu here is this. Where is it? Where is it? Extreme class allies attack and defense plus 30%. Now, the future Saga allies buffs that he gives is just unfortunate because Super Saiyan 3 Rosé is not going to be receiving that, but, you know, it is what it is. At least he's getting some sort of support from Zamasu. We also have this rotation here. We already know what a demon support STR Rosé is, so that can definitely work out pretty well. And then this Zamasu ZZA was amazing, so these two can really work as a rotation. Again, when you run a rotation like this, you are sacrificing a lot of power from a lot of these Goku Black and Zamasu characters because you don't have things like Big Bad Bosses active, which is definitely one of the strongest links in the game. So for you trying to force fit Super Saiyan 3 Rosé, you're just making, unfortunately, you're making the team worse by not having that active skill, but who cares, right? If you're having fun, you're having fun. Just trying to give like a little objective, you know, truth there. Also, it may not even matter too much because depending on who you have as your floater, right? Because this is, again, Dokkan is a 3 rotation or like a 3 character rotation game. It's not just the first 2 characters. So if you have a rotation of Super Saiyan 3 Rosé in the first slot, let's say this Zamasu in the second slot, and then this Zamasu and Goku Black in the third slot, the last 2 characters have Big Bad Bosses. So as long as the last 2 characters in the rotation have it, you should be good to go. But then that forces you to run Super Saiyan 3 Rosé in the first slot, because if now you put Super Saiyan 3 Rosé in the middle, you're breaking that Big Bad Boss's, you know, connectivity there. So you're really gonna have to force yourself to run Super Saiyan 3 Rosé in the first slot to get the other 2 characters, if they have it, to link with Big Bad Bosses. And even then, it could be a little tricky. So with Rosé in the first slot, again, he's not a bad character for sure, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, let's continue with this. So we do have this rotation here. You can also run this Goku Black as a floater, right? Now, the thing again, it's like he himself is a decent floater only because A, he does have Big Bad Bosses, and B, he is supporting Future, but this Future or Big Bad Bosses doesn't really support Super Saiyan 3 Rosé, just makes the other character linked with him look a lot better. We also have this rotation here. Dark King Fu is actually a pretty solid character to have on rotation. The reason why is extreme class allies attack and defense plus 30%. Now he is, and a lot of these characters are like this, but you know, he's going to want some more crossover characters on the team to make him a little bit better. So if you run this rotation, right, under Zamasu, because remember, this Fu is on Realm of Gods as well as Time Traveler, so he does fit under the 200%. But if you're running these 2 characters together, you're going to have to run some other crossover characters or something on the team, because you're really going to want to make sure every one of these characters are powered up to their absolute max, right? But we also have this chance of evading enemies' attack, including super, plus 10% up to 50, and extreme class allies key plus 1 up to 5, plus an additional attack and defense plus 4% up to 20 per STR key sphere obtained. So him being able to have 3 or more crossover category allies on the team becomes super important, which again is just making the team not worse, but it's like if you're going to force run Super Saiyan 3 Rosé on the team, and you're going to force your way to have this guy on the team, you're going to have another character on the team that's part of crossover to make this rotation as good as it can possibly be, right? We also have the EZA4 Demigra here. I already highlighted, as you can see, 4 key and 40% to stats for extreme class allies is, of course, extremely, extremely good. I'll also say greatly raising attack and defense as a 3rd slot option is also really, really, really good, and it's extreme class. It's not crossover, not Dragon Ball Heroes, so you can fit him since he is in Realm of Gods and Time Travelers. He does fit under the 200%, and you can slide him in easily with that team, as this will allow him to support the entire team and not just Super Saiyan 3 Rosé. I also did pull up this character here. This is one of the better EZAs of like the entire batch. 150% of defense, an extra 150 for 5 turns, an extra 100% and guard and recovering HP. You can definitely run these 2 together. They're not going to be linking insanely well, but you know, it's definitely an option. And when it comes to that's essentially it for Super Saiyan 3 Rosé, and the Vegito side of things. Again, there's some other characters they could link well with, but in terms of making them look as good as they possibly can, you're gonna have to stick with the crossover, you know, Dragon Ball Heroes team, maybe Giant 8 Power for Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Now, if you pulled the Berserk controlled Vegeta, you know, it's one of those characters where you're going to want to run more Dragon Ball Heroes, right? To make them look as good as they possibly can. And some of your options are this Rage Vegeta here, not on Dragon Ball Heroes, I know, but 6 links. I had to show it to you in case you have them, right? We also have this Vegeta, 5 links, not on Heroes. I get it. You do have this Vegeta though, and guess what? This Vegeta is a no, hold on. Okay, no, it's not this Vegeta. It's the Int Vegeta that supports Vegeta's family. So these two, I mean, 5 links, and this Vegeta is on Dragon Ball Heroes. And again, you can also rock the, let me pull them up here. You can also rock the Int Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Heroes Vegeta, who does support Vegeta's family, with this Vegeta as well, because they definitely will link up. And the other issues, you know, when it comes to team building and rotations that I have with these two characters here, I mean, Janemba is obviously going to work well with Tech Janemba, STR Janemba, Int Janemba, LR Physical Janemba. The only issue is that if you want this character to look good, you got to run him on crossover. And it's the same thing with Metal Cooler here. He links well with a bunch of other Metal Cooler units, a lot of other Frieza-related characters, but if you want to see this character at their peak performance, both offensively and defensively, crossover is the way to go. So let me know what you think. Definitely a massive buff for Dragon Ball Heroes here. I think we covered definitely just like the main characters. I didn't really touch on Broly too much. I'm a little upset with Broly, so I'll talk to him a little bit later. But when it comes to you, let me know how. Let me know what you think. Let me know how were your hero summons. I should be live later on today, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.